Hi there, good noon, and welcome to our series where you and we both sit down together and practice all of these questions. And I hope that with every session, you are getting that extra additional clarity of how we should go ahead and approach the questions. और skills में होता भी है यार, है ना, पता है ना, RC skill है, हाँ, paragraph based questions, काफ़ी technique based questions हैं. So the more we do that, the easier I think it is eventually going to become for us. So you are on BYJU'S exam prep channel dedicated to your success as an aspirant. My name is Vikrant, 22 years of teaching, your personal coach here for all things English and communication. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Now, one question that a lot of us asked was, sir, that all India mock, when is the analysis going to happen? So let us start with that straight off the bat. We are going to conduct that analysis 2 days from now, Sunday at 11 a.m. where we basically do a live analysis. Okay, so whichever one of us can turn up will actually turn up and talk about the paper with you. In case you happen to have any concern, any issue, you can of course go ahead and ask it in that session then and there and get an answer, right? Baki to, of course, you'd also have a recorded analysis and solution, particularly solutions available. You can benefit from that too. But if you've attempted All India Open Mock, please make sure that you attend this session. And in case you have not attempted that All India Open Mock, why did you not when I asked you so many times? अबे देने होते हैं ये सारे पेपर, हाँ. But that's it. Okay, so let's get ready for our 500 questions. We'll go through things a little fast today. A couple of passages, a para jumble, a para summary, all of that happening. So here are your directions to the first passage, which happens to have 4 questions, by the way. So take a deep breath, orient yourself, and then let's start. Ready? There you go, the first paragraph. Fantastic, Anjila. Okay, here is the next paragraph. Wow, Priyanshi, is that a done for the second paragraph? If yes, that's fast. I like it. Very good. If not, it's okay. Just go through it and let me know. Come on, guys. Come on. Second paragraph. Second paragraph. We have no seconds to waste. Fantastic, Ranit. Next. Next. Okay, next. Next, not even waiting. Okay, this is a paragraph which I had to split into two. Okay, next. Done? So here is the first question for you. What is the central idea of the passage? So your typical main idea question, before we read the answer choices, we think of the subject matter plus purpose and then dive, right? And thereafter we use elimination. Go ahead and tell me what the answer should be. Okay, Saket has set the ball rolling. Let's see what others say. So if I look at it, A, to discuss the different kind of biofuels, this is narrow because it talks about only the last paragraph basically. To explore the idea of replacing fossil fuels with biofuels, I'd say it is marginally narrow. Why? You remember the very first paragraph talks about we may run out of fossil fuels, so we are exploring other options. And one of those other options is biofuels. Even in the Indian context, there are other options, but gradually biofuels are so mildly narrow. C, to pinpoint the exact usage beyond the scope of the passage, it is not even being talked about there, so let's rule out C. D, to take into account the urgency to resort to biofuels, we have not talked about or explored the urgency in the passage, so even D is ruled out. So A and B, both are narrow. A is narrower than B, therefore let's rule out A and opt for B. Right? So ideally, I would prefer, ideally, if I were to create an option, I'd say that, the future paucity of fossil fuels is urging us to look at alternate avenues, particularly biofuels. So that's going to be like, perfect. But then, as we know, we are basically supposed to look at the best answer choice available, and we can easily do that through the process of elimination. Question number 2 on your screen, what's your take? this can be close. Oh damn, I thought that I'm going to trap you, but I could not. The correct answer is indeed B. I thought that you may get confused between A and B, but then, man, you guys are becoming smarter, huh? You guys are actually becoming smarter. So I'll tell you why A is not as great an answer as B. It's actually a specific detail question. If you go to the passage, you'd find this line, and the line says the main advantage of biofuels over conventional fossil fuels is that the world is unlikely to deplete its sources of biofuels as they are renewable. So the passage labels B as the main advantage. So it is not that A is not an advantage, but it is not exactly cited as the main advantage, and therefore C. I think C and D you all have managed to rule out, so I can also skip talking about those. So here is the third question. Inference, true, false, can't say. Go ahead. Oh, it is 12-12. Now, why am I sharing that with you? I don't know. Come on, what's your take for third? Where are the answers? And I hope that you did pay attention to this. It says cannot. Huh? Hope you looked at that. Okay, so when you say B can be inferred. B says biofuels include all the kinds of fuels that can be prepared for organic matter. Look at the definition. Biofuels are combustible materials that are produced over a short span of time from biomass rather than over millions of years. So the term biofuel is considered to be a catch-all term to define any fuel made from organic matter, plant matter, microorganism, animal waste. Remember that paragraph. So B can definitely be inferred. C, given in the first paragraph, true. D, renewable source of energy such as solar power, hydropower, likely to increase. This is again something that can be inferred from there was this question raised in the first paragraph. Where do industries that are heavily dependent on such fuels look for equivalent energy sources? The answer lies in the global movement towards utilizing renewable energies. So D can also be inferred. Now the problem with A is, it says despite being used interchangeably, there is one key difference. We would not really call it a key difference. At the end of the day, we know that biofuels are a type of biomass, or they are a byproduct of biomass. So they are essentially the same thing. The only thing that changes is the physical state. And therefore, of the four, B, C and D are definitely true. A is can't say, probably true, but that goes towards the direction of can't say, and that is why it should have been chosen as our answer. B, C and D can be inferred from different places. And here comes the last one. What can make the production of biofuels unsustainable in the long run? Okay. Right, so I do have a couple of answers with me from Kaustubh and Archana. Let us see what else we get. So towards the end of the passage, the author says, despite these advantages, the environmental sustainability of biofuel production due to its negative effects on food security and land use changes remains unclear. Right? And from there we can arrive at D. C, even if I look at C in isolation, it cannot be an answer for it being unsustainable. C can lead to a conclusion that it is going to be inadequate, not unsustainable. Right? So last paragraph, the information supplied here can help us narrow it down to option D. And here comes the next question, where you are given a paragraph. The paragraph is followed by 4 summaries and you need to pick up the correct essence of the passage. Mihir, thank you for the feedback. I'll definitely do that. In fact, I keep doing that, Mihir. In fact, I took a session yesterday on the app where we talked about previous year CAT questions, and even here you'd notice that there are days when we pick up a passage which is difficult, days where it is easy. We just on YouTube you at times are trying to strike a balance, right? And the difficulty level can also come from multiple avenues. So there are times when we have dealt with passages that were challenging to read, and then there are times when the questions were a little tricky, right? But I definitely get you, huh? We'd look at that. Okay, so here is the paragraph for question 5. The next slide will have the answer choices. Please make sure that you read it, get that summary in your mind, and then start tackling the options in, say, 15 seconds from now. Ready? There you go. Interoception. It's a technical term, Virender. I think even if you do not know the meaning, you should still be able to choose the right summary. Intero. Okay, so let me take you back to the paragraph once, and then I'll bring you to the options. Look at this. Which has led scientists to theorize recently? that there might be. So theorize basically means that they're thinking that, oh, it seems, it appears that this is what is causing that. So these two words basically tell you that it is not a fact, that it is a hypothesis at this juncture. Okay, not a fact but a hypothesis at the moment. Now if you look at A, B and C, all of them have phrased it as a fact. D is the only one that tells you that it is a theory. It's being theorized, it's a hypothesis, and that is why D. So in the end, I think when I looked at this carefully, it turned out to be easy for me to eliminate A, B and C and zero down on D. Okay, so that's fifth. Here are the directions for your next question. So you've been given 4 sentences of a paragraph that are jumbled. Your job is to rediscover the sequence. So here they are. So what's your take on this? So if I just look at the ideas, you notice 2 is different from 3 and 4. 2 is talking about the advantages of listening. 3 says we don't focus on listening. 4 says, okay, when we do it, it's only in a very specific context. So you realize we have 3 and a 4, and then we have 2. They represent 2 different ideas. And then in first, you have this neglect. So what can I refer to with the help of this neglect? So you notice 4th is the one that talks about neglect. It uses the word ignore. So we need to have 4 and 1 coming together. We need to have 3 and 4 coming together. Now the only place for 2 is beginning or end. Where would you prefer putting it? It's better to put it afterwards, right? It can be used as a justification for why it is a shame, and therefore the best way to arrange that is 3, 4, 1 and 2. And why 3 and 4? Why not 4 and 3? Look at this. When the concept of listening is addressed at any length. So you notice 3 is general. We don't focus it. And third, when we focus it, it is only in this specific context. So normally when we write illustrative paragraphs, we prefer starting with a general sentence and then going down to specific ideas. I actually talk about it a lot in my essay writing sessions, but unfortunately we go ahead and attend it only after the CAT is over. Keep on working. So 3, 4, 1, 2, and with that, let's dive into one more passage today. So here is passage 2 for you. Mihir, ready for this? This passage is a little more challenging than the previous one. I'm sure you'd enjoy it. It'll be a good workout for all of us. Start. Sonali, you've sent only 1/2 of a quote mark. What happened? Let's. Ready? Here you go. It's a fabulous passage. The idea that it depicts is awesome. Dinesh, I think I've gone on to explain why everything is where it is. Next. Next. Fantastic, guys. Here is the next paragraph. Next. So that takes care of the passage. Hopefully you've read it. And here comes the question. Oh, Victor, which song was it that you recommended? Okay, Vedant is the first one to give us the answer. So you notice, likely to support is essentially what? An inference based question. Anything that is consistent with the passage, that can be termed true on the basis of the information supplied by the passage, is the one that we mark as our answer. So when you say A, this is false according to the passage. Okay, Vinayak, let me take you back to one particular place where I think it will become clear. So you notice this. Once a danger becomes long and grinding, catastrophism loses its purchase and more measured public thinking is required. So these two places can very easily help us label A as false. And for that matter, we can also label B as false. See, the denialist label is used by those who do not wish to control the people who can speak. The author once again says the opposite of it. So even that is false. And that leaves you with D as your answer. That's the only bit that is true according to the passage. The author wants everybody to have a dialogue. And these labels make the dialogues difficult. Okay, next question for you. Question number 8. Remember where it was? Okay, so let me take you back to where it has been mentioned. What is an allegory? What's its job? Allegory for climate catastrophe. Allegory is a story which is symbolic in nature, which goes on to convey something else. For example, what was that movie? Narnia. What was the name of the movie? I don't remember, but I think quite a few of you would probably recognize this, Narnia. So the author wanted his grandchildren to become acquainted with the teachings of the Bible. A child would obviously not read or understand, or not, at least not be able to understand the Bible. So he reimagined the Bible in the form of this series of books, Chronicles of Narnia. So everything there is symbolic. The Aslan, the lion, is basically Jesus Christ and all that. Or for that matter, even when you look at a lot of these Panchatantra tales, jatak tales, fairy tales, we don't take them at their face value. Okay, so when you talk about a tortoise and a hare, it is not actually about a tortoise and a hare. It has a lesson in it. So this movie was essentially an allegory that tried to tell us that, hey, we bury the truth. We at times ignore or avoid the truth, but in reality we should pay attention to it. So which answer choice comes closest to it? In the context, can A be justified? No. How about B? A parable for impending climate disaster. I'd say to a certain extent, okay, an allegory, parable is a synonym. Parable is a simple story used to illustrate a moral or spiritual lesson, so that will work. It's not 100% perfect, but okay, it's definitely better than A. C, only alarmism is effective in inducing changes. The word only cannot be justified, so we can rule it out. The alarmism depicted is misplaced. See, this is something that has been talked about subsequently. It is not in this context. So the best answer choice that we have is option B. Vedant is talking about Plato's allegory of the cave. I absolutely love you, man. But a lot of people may not be familiar with that. So I'd have to start talking about Plato's allegory of the cave. So it's a beautiful example. I'm really happy that you know this. Okay. So that's your question number 8. Here is the next one. Taking inspiration from the IMs and giving you a convoluted question stem. Okay, so none of the following can be inferred except, so basically the question is, which of the following can be inferred? So which one of these is true? Victor, I filled CAT form today. There was no city except Delhi and Kolkata in whole of the North India for interview. Maybe I don't know. So what? It's okay. That's a non-issue. We can always travel. What's the harm? So A, true. Second paragraph. B, alarmism is never well-intentioned. Can't say. The intentions are not exactly talked about. And in fact, why can't say? We can actually call it false because their intention is good, but the effect is not good. Alarmists tend to underplay the problems and often come up with bizarre solutions. They don't underplay the problems, they exaggerate it. Coming up with bizarre solutions is true. So the first half is false, the second half is true. So on the whole cannot be inferred. D, catastrophic categorization generally proven to be effective. Once again, false as per the passage. So the only answer that we can pick up here is option A. And with that, let me take you over to the next question. Question number 10 on your screen. So, what's your take? Absolutely spot on. The correct answer is indeed D. D is the only bit which contradicts the premise. If you look at A is in agreement with the passage, so it can't weaken. So this in fact goes on to strengthen. B strengthens. C strengthens. D is the only one that contradicts the premise and therefore goes on to weaken. So that's about the practice, and here is a bit for the mental aspects of the preparation. In the end, we retain from our studies only that which we practically apply. So for every question, we know how to approach it. We've talked about this here on this platform and on our app and in our sessions. So make sure that you start putting that into practice. And once again, a reminder that we'd have our live analysis happening on the Sunday at 11. Do tune in for that. So if you liked working with me, don't forget to like the session before you leave. And if you want more practice, you can consider enrolling for our test series, which gives you tons and tons of practice. Additionally, go through a 3-day free trial of a program that can give you an insight into what we do in our batches. And we really believe that these batches, this work with us together, can lead to great percentiles as evidenced by our previous successes, right? And the scholarship test is on 27th of August, so you can utilize that to get a really sweet deal for yourself. So that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you guys once again rather soon. Until then, stay safe, stay focused, stay in touch. If you are somebody who's preparing for CAT 24, I have a session on the app at 5 today. Do tune in for that. It's only for those who are preparing for 24, not going to be very relevant if you are targeting 23 exclusively, right? So I'll see you there too. So take care. Have a nice day ahead, and we'll meet soon.